Say What They Can't Radio.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Lisa Ray, and we're tuning in with Radio 1 World Fest, brought to you by 1WorldFestGlobal at We Say What They Can't station, live streaming, WeSayWhatTheyCan't.com. Tune in. Anyway, we have a wonderful show this afternoon, and we are going to be speaking about women's empowerment. And before we get started with that, I just want to acknowledge our founder and CEO, Mr. Kamel Ellis. He's actually in the building. He's holding it down for us and as our fearless leader. And to my right, my co-host, Ms. Nefertaria Jones.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
And we have one of our guests, Ms. Jakisha Breland, in the house. And we're going to be speaking with her. She is in financial services, and we're going to talk a little bit about her background and what she's doing. So let's just say hello to Jakisha. And Jakisha, let them know where you're from and what you're doing and how you even connected to One World Fest.
Peace, everyone. This is Jakisha Breland. I am from Brooklyn, New York. I live in Queens right now. I'm an international investment banker, a chief financial officer of Bellwether Capital Management LP. I have been in the financial services as executive level, started at executive level since I was 18 years of age at Goldman Sachs. So I will be speaking about financial services. The topic that we're going to be talking about will be consumer debt versus non-consumer debt, on account of a lot of our audience to not know the difference between consumer debt and a non-consumer debt. So, thank you. Well, I want everyone listening, please bring your questions as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome, Jakisha. And now we also have our Director of Business Development in the house, Miss Leslie Jacobs, a.k.a. Leslie Diamond. And so she's going to let you know where she's from and what she's going to be speaking about today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leslie Jacobs. I have a company called the Jacobs Agency. I'm also a promoter in the 5 boroughs. What I'm going to be talking about today is networking, business development, and how to build your brand, and how I came to do so with this wonderful organization.
Awesome. And now I'm going to go to my co-host, Ms. Nefertaria Jones, and she knows what to do.
Yes, hello. I'm Nif's Logic. That's my performance name, my stage name, but I'm Nefertaria Jones, what my mama named me. And I'm founder of Bless the Streets, which is my nonprofit organization, one of 2 that I started up for myself, as well as founder and owner of Project Bless the Streets, which is an in-school, after-school service provider for the Department of Education. So I will be talking about education. I will be talking about the need for entrepreneurship, how you get your children to be considered an employee of your own business if you have a business, or how to start up an LLC. My daughter's been an employee of mine since 10, 11 years old. So that's what I would like to talk about today. And what brought me to One World Fest, why I'm a part of this organization. I'm executive director of administration and marketing. I'm sorry. So I have 2 titles on this organization, but I love it so much. And I would like to talk about, what brought me here.
Okay, awesome. And yours truly, Lisa Ray. Actually, I'm going by Angel now. My middle name is Angel. My background actually is in financial services, and I won't really be speaking on that, but I'm mentioning that I'm really going to be speaking about transformation and reinventing yourself and overcoming adversity, even in the midst of challenges. Myself being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I refuse to lay down and just give up. And I want to be an inspiration to others. And as a result, I'm going to be speaking about some of the creative projects that I've been a part of, a book that I've written, Angel's Heart Guided by Light, and also a play that I've written, Life is Poetic. So I'm going to be speaking about overcoming adversity and believing in yourself and trusting that spirit in you so you can move forward and overcome. So that's what we're going to be doing today, okay? All right. So I'd like to start with Miss Jakisha Breland. And so I know you are a CFO,
Yes.
right? Are you still with Goldman Sachs, or you with
No,
another?
Bellwether Capital Management
Okay.
LP.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what a CFO does.
Chief Financial Officer, we deal with all of the financial aspects and the banking system on international level, as well as dealing with SMEs, small business and enterprises as well. We deal with so many different things. As the Chief Financial Officer, what my position is to do is make sure that all of the financial statements are in on time. Like today, we do know that this is the end of the first quarter. Tomorrow is the second quarter. So then today is the end of the quarter. So we have to make sure those financial statements and everything are in for the first quarter. Then we start our new quarter tomorrow. So that's basically what the Chief Financial Officer does.
Okay. Okay.
And I have a quick question because, I remember when I first started my first business. Well, no, not my first business. I started that when I was about 18, 19. But my second business, I started a in-home tutoring service. And I knew nothing about quarterlies. And I got in so much trouble with taxes because I did not know that you had to report how much you make. Every 3 months you had to report how much you make. I don't have that problem now, but there's a lot of small business owners or people who are starting out in businesses and they don't understand that. But I didn't have an accountant, so.
That happens.
Right.
That happens a lot. You have to know that once you're in any business, even a small business, even a sole proprietorship, there is quarterly. But when you're dealing with a sole proprietorship, you can file at the end of the year, as well as LLCs at the end of the year. And you do not have to file those business quarterly. But when you're dealing with more larger enterprises of S corporations, and other LLCs and LPs, those have to be filed quarterly. You have a first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So absolutely, you have to file them that way. It's very imperative, and I do have a tax professional background, and I am a tax professional as well. It is very imperative for people to understand the tax codes. And like you said, with entrepreneurship, if you don't know those tax codes, you don't know what the write-offs are, and then our administration, number 45, there's so many different new tax codes and different laws that are written.
Absolutely.
But to be honest, it's for us to take advantage of
yes.
it. Because I was in the meeting with Conway and some other people, maybe 2017 in DC. And that's how I know all of the tax laws. Just like I was in a private meeting at a round table 2017 of April, before they decided to bring down the capital gain tax to 21%. I was at that meeting that they had right next to Trump Tower, and I knew that it was going to go down from the 35. So there's a lot of tax advantages for businesses. Don't think the small businesses are not included. You just have to know those tax laws.
And for some of you who don't understand, have a little bit more of what she's saying. When we file taxes, a lot of people who have businesses, we were paying 35 to 55% in taxes.
35.
And if you had a good accountant, they'll break it down to 35. But if you didn't know what you were doing, you were basically almost paying 50% of everything you own for taxes. And it's very important that as women, as anybody, we have to have that financial literacy.
Exactly.
Okay. I'd like to just kind of get a little bit more into how you came in to be a part of One World Fest and exactly what your role is, if you can explain to the people.
Oh, absolutely. I was invited by my cousin, K-Mel Ellis. He was like, I didn't even know exactly what you do, cuz. It's funny how he said that, and I'm like, well, I've been an international investment banker, because he does speak to my sister, Tynetta, and he's more in tune with her. So he didn't know that I was the international investment banker. And I said, no, I'm the international investment banker, and I'm interested. So, yeah, we can definitely get into this. Even yesterday, I have some people from Seattle that's willing to looking to donate to the One World Fest and things like that. Mr. Johnson, we spoke to him, and we're ready for this One World Fest. I told him if I don't have to be directly as a chief financial officer of the One World Fest, but I need to be on that financial team so I can show you how to get this money.
So-
It's about the currency.
Absolutely.
It's really about that.
So you are actually on the advisory board, is that
The
correct?
advisory
Okay.
board.
The board of directors, I'm sorry.
No.
The advisory board is a younger team that we have. So you're on the board of directors.
I'm on the board of directors,
Yes,
but
which
I
is-
definitely will continue giving the advice
Absolutely.
when it comes to the financials.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go over to Miss Lady Diamonds over there. She's representing Lady Diamonds today. So let's talk about what you do, what you're passionate about. Let's talk about how you came into One World Fest, your connection, and, let's do that.
Well, how I came into One World Fest was, of course, Kamel. Kamel and I actually used to ride the express bus together, and we both were in advertising. I was at an advertising agency for 22 years, and Kamel and Ruel, they had their own ad agency, Rand. So we rode the bus together, and we would have small talk, and then we learned about what each other was into, and then he pulled me into a project, a couple of projects. So when he came to me with the One World Fest, and he explained what it was about and what he was trying to do, I just thought it was incredible, because what we have been doing in the past is, as they say in the street, get money. That's what, we build people. We did a lot of projects. We build people. We did some pro bono, very light pro bono work, but we build people.
Right.
And when he came to me with this project, I just thought it was the vision I thought was incredible, and it was something that I really wanted to be a part of. And to be honest, sometimes it's a struggle for me, because balance has always been my challenge. Time management. My hands are in so many things.
Right.
So it's challenging sometimes, because a lot of times I put One World Fest project in front of a lot of the other things that I do. And it's not about what's billable and what's not. It's just about what's in me and what I want to do.
It's what's in your heart.
Yes. So that's what happens. And in turn with that is I have a wonderful team of women that I work with on the team Lady Diamonds, and I have a couple of women that work with me with the Jacobs Agency. And then because we're such a small company, there's a lot of crossover.
Right, of course.
So what happens is my passion now becomes their passion.
Of course.
So
'Cause you're the leader.
yeah, but you can only ask, you can only ask. So they have in turn joined this mission with me, and they stand by my side, and we do this together, so.
Which is wonderful. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And that in turn means that you are empowering your team.
Right. I
And
guess
today's
you're right.
show is women's empowerment.
Empowerment, yeah.
Right.
So that's what you are doing as the leader, as Lady Diamonds. So I understand that, and that's excellent, because it's nothing like having a leader that will notice your talent or recognize your talents and empower you to do things, because no one can do anything by themselves. You have to have a wonderful team. So teamwork makes the dream work. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
I have another question. So, what is it about? And either one of you can actually, or both of you can answer this question. What is it about the mission of One World Fest that you connect to? What is it that really touches your heart?
Honestly, it's really, to me, it's really about the cultural awareness.
Okay.
Right.
The last time I was on the show, which was a year ago, we spoke about, diverse backgrounds and challenges and things that, so for me, it's about that. I think that's what touched me the most. And being able to make people aware of what's going on in the world and actually having an impact with it. And even in my 9-to-5 life,
Right.
I work on the diversity and inclusion team for the company that I work with. And it's incredible, because the company I work with, they're basically I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. They're basically an agency that places C-level executives.
Okay.
Right? So you go to a temp agency and you want to get a job. these people, this company, they work with C-level executives, so they have, multi-billion-dollar companies that hire them to make placements. And with the diversity and inclusion team, what's happening in the world is women are not being treated equally, pay.
From financial standpoint,
Yes,
right?
pay, and companies are interested in having women in the right place, in leadership positions.
Okay.
They are interested in having other cultures. So our company is honing in on this. And what's happening is we're making a difference in the world. So, and this came really after I was working with One World Fest.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So there's a correlation right there. Jakeisha, I want to ask you that same question.
Okay.
What is it about One World's mission that you connect to, and why?
I know I can definitely add investment opportunities, but what gravitated to me when I was introduced to the One World Fest Global from my cousin K-Mal is I was like, wow, that's big, because I know about the global festival that happens every year, and I'm like, it's going to be similar to that, but certain things they do not even talk about. And for me to be with a clandestine of the elite groups and things of that, I can definitely bring that to the One World Fest Global. I want to bring it to the One World Fest Global audience, and there's going to be so many different people that I can give information to.
Educate, right?
And yeah, it's always about educating, enlightening others, because so many people do not know so much things that are out there. And I watched that global festival, and I said, look at the promotion that they are doing. And when I watched it, I know it was more promoting certain things of a lot of depopulation and things of that nature. I'm not here for that. I'm here to shine on that and to have that light and the truth. That's why when people be like, who is she and what exactly she does and why, I have IMF meetings. If I can be a part of an IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and United Nations, why not be part of something big for our culture? We live in a very diverse arena at this moment. That is the society we all live in. So we need to be able to express other ideas, and everyone else should be able to bring something to the table. I'm bringing the truth to the table at the moment.
All right,
We hear
all
that
right.
now.
And at the end of the day, I've always been an advocate for sharing information. See, I'm not threatened by anyone.
That's
I
right.
can learn from you, I can learn from everyone at this table, and you can learn from me. So iron sharpens iron. And as a result of that, in any position I've ever had on Wall Street, the younger people, I noticed they would be afraid to make certain decisions. And I would say, listen, it's okay if you make a mistake, but you need to be confident in yourself and make that decision. Just do it. And then if you do make a mistake, you'll know what not to do, and you backtrack and say, okay, I should have done this. I could have done this better. Every time I took a particular role, I would always approach it in a way like this. How can I do this better, more efficiently? Because I'm about, let's get it done, let's get it done. You know how it is with
Of
financial
course.
services. It's quick, turn around,
Right.
turn around. Now, I'm in education, and education is a whole different ball game. But now I'm in a place where, having raised a son as a single parent, having my son getting ready to graduate college and being afflicted with MS, and I could pay for him to go to school, and then all of a sudden, how's he gonna go? Anyway, God made a way. He graduated college, and now he's on his own, and he's busy, he's working, he's doing things. And I have a passion. Somehow I was appointed to teach young people choir. Why, I don't know, but I did it for over 10 years. And I wrote songs for them, and I taught them skits and stuff, not knowing that was really preparing me for what was going to happen today. And so now my heart is really for young people. And I want to teach them what I know. I want to share what I know. I'm not in competition with anybody. I want to share what I know. I want to learn from them so I can help them and be the best support that I can be for them. And I want to also remember seniors, because they're the forgotten community. That bothers me so much. And many times seniors, when you're older, you're afflicted, you have different health problems, whatever. But then again, I know some seniors that can run and I can't run. But at the end of the day, I have a heart for people. So we need to share that information and empower our young people and empower one another. That's what it's all about.
And when I came to be a part. Oh, my camera went around, so excuse me. I'm filming everything else but me. But I came to be a part of One World Fest. I actually met Kamel at the time. I was doing tutoring. I was managing unsigned artists, independent artists, and I was hosting my own show called Bless the Stage. And it was a live stream show streamed on Brooklyn.tv right out of here in Brooklyn. And I was traveling the show. I was, starting to allow the show to grow because I kind of grew it as a family-based show. A lot of my, like 50% of the audience was family. So I actually met Kamel's brother, and we were supposed to be. I'm a theater. I love theater. I was always in performing arts. So just at that time, I wanted to come up with this skit about like these runaway couples, and I was gonna have 2 husbands, and he was one of my husbands. It was a funny skit, We spent a lot of time together. Kamel, his brother, and myself. And I just grew to have a dear friendship with Kamel. He was at the time his manager. So a lot of the things I had to do, speak through to Kamel to speak to his brother. So throughout the years, Kamel just continued supporting me. I stopped doing Bless the Stage to start focusing more on education and bigger contracts. And I still kept in contact with his brother. But again, Kamel, his brother, always supported me. When Kamel came to me and discussed about, One World Fest, at the time I had already put on my own little 3-day festival. I was doing shows, so he felt I was really, in that area putting on shows. So he let me know about Leslie and Lisa. He had a team of promoters because our main focus was to do this big festival to honor people and their cultures. And then as we started talking and building the organization, and he started knowing about a little bit more things that I was able to do, he was like, wait a minute, you could offer the organization more. Would you be able to come in as an executive? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll do that because a lot of people always, I've been an executive on 8 organizations, So I was like, okay, I'll help you. But then the passion came, when we really started getting into the understanding of what One World Fest was and what our goal was. And one thing was, it was unity. And we had to start amongst our own. And even the reason why we're here today is to know the women that's behind One World Fest. And the thing is, we have so many cultures just in our bloodline, just sitting at the table. Kamel, I got all of this, and I'm I got all of this running in my blood, and it just made us so much more connected. I was like, wow. And then we are about almost 3 years in with the organization.
So what is it that speaks to you? What is it about the mission of One World that really connects to your heart? Is it the unity? What is it?
It's the unity, and it's to show people to love every part of themselves. We are all multi-cultural.
Right.
And, we only focus on black and white. We don't focus on the
Shades of gray.
All shades. Coming from people who come from, I come from Jamaica, but you don't hear Maserati. You don't hear other countries. You don't know about them so much. But then you have, being in New York City, we're a melting pot of culture. So you could go anywhere, go up the block, and you would smell all kinds of different foods. And one thing I love is food. So I was I wanted to be on a mission where I go to the restaurants, but I got hurt.
So it's unity and food for you.
Yeah, unity and food.
It's food for me too. So Jakisha, a couple of things. Because we only have about 20 minutes. Oh, no, actually we have a little bit more than that. So as a woman, what would make a woman want to be a part of this organization? Yeah, as a woman, what do you think would make a woman want to be a part of this organization?
Well, right now we are definitely in the woman empowerment era. So why wouldn't a woman want to be part of an organization of One World Fest Global? This is something women should want to be part of.
You see it as an opportunity?
Absolutely, it's an opportunity. Women do whatever a man can do. I don't know why people think that
I
women
agree.
cannot.
And it's not only that, it's the amount of people we have
We
together.
have.
Like Kamel brought a team of people that
There's more of us.
if you would not, you would not imagine the talent, the professionalism, the levels of professionalism that goes on in this organization from every walk, every profession. And we come, and I'm like, Kamel, who are these people? Like, who are these people? And it's every time. I mean, he's a blessed man. So God has blessed him to know some very great people, but with a bigger blessing to bring people together and have them on one mission,
One of the things Camille always says, he has a team of generals, and that's something that he says all the time. So much that he's like, okay, everybody's got stuff going on. Everybody's got these big ideas, but that's phenomenal to be able to identify talent and to be able to be like, you know what, I'm going to take in from them. I'm going to share with them my vision, and they caught on to the vision, but I'm also here to listen to their ideas because I know they can contribute. So he's wonderful. He's great at identifying talent. He did bring a great team. None of us knew each other, and now we do. And so, Jakisha, I definitely want to get into the questions that I think we should answer from a financial standpoint.
Okay.
And so let's explain to our listeners what consumer debt is.
I'm happy you asked that question. Consumer debt is definitely the debt that we have as employees when you investing in your 401ks, your IRAs. Everybody know those are tax events. So that's what makes it a consumer debt. You are a consumer when you work as an employee.
Okay. Now, what investment vehicles are non-consumer debt?
770s accounts.
And can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, explain what that
Absolutely. A 770 account is the same identification as a IUL. That's an Index Universal Life account, and it's dealing with insurance. When you do have an Index Universal Life account, that is the proper account to invest in because that is a non-tax event. So when the market goes up or down, it does not affect your investments at all because that is your account. Then when you're dealing with the other side, which is the life insurance, you do not have to pay anything extra or anything towards that account. That is what the 770 account is. That account is the same account the United States of America Corporation uses. This is how we run our corporation, the United States of America.
Okay. So, why should we all invest in non-consumer debt? For what? Why? What are the positives about it?
Everyone saw what happened when number 45 shut down the government. Some people was not able to pay mortgages. Some people were not able to take care of their family. Consequently, I did not have any problem on account of, I do have my 770 accounts, my IULs account set up, so it will not affect me. It doesn't matter how much money I make or not, because when you still have those type of payments to make and taking care of a family, and I was taking care of 5 children, 2 children that was on the spectrum of autism for my sister. Now I just have the 2 older ones. But like I said, it's not easy. And I realized it's not easy when I was dealing with those 5 children. So when you do have the non-consumer debt, you are able to get into those accounts with no problem and without penalties.
Can you give us an example of that type of account or a company that offers those type of accounts?
Well, you do have a lot of life insurance companies and insurance companies.
Like
that
MetLife or...
MetLife may offer it. Primerica may offer it.
Okay.
There are so many different insurance companies that's starting to open up the market ever since I spoke on a few shows. And they were like, what type of account is that? They didn't understand of the 770 account. The account that, like I said, it's the way we run our corporation, United States of America, we are not running it as a country at all. That is the account that they use. So what the insurance companies realize, oh, okay, that's the IUL, Index Universal Life account.
Okay, so if we called our insurance brokers and said, we want to know what an IUL account is, or we want to know how we can invest in that, they should understand and be able to make that happen.
Absolutely. And if they don't, and this is
Find another broker.
Find another broker.
Terry, I'm giving you a call.
Right. If they don't, find another broker. Contact me. I could get you guys set up with brokers and everything.
Okay. I have some more questions, but I want to move over to Leslie Diamond. Yeah, and same question. As a woman, what do you think would make a woman want to be a part of this organization?
To be honest, I think it's not even just about women. Although this is Women's History Month, and
Right.
we are at the close of Women's History Month. I think this is an incredible organization for anyone to be a part of, because it's nothing like making a change in the world. And working with this team of which it is majority women, girl power, it is, when you think about it. So,
Kamel's good with that. He's like, it's all right. It's good.
I mean, honestly, women do rule the world. That's
Who
the truth,
runs the
right?
world?
So with this team, when you said that, Kamel said he has a team of generals. They a lot of times they say it's you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, and it doesn't always work well. Even when you think of singing groups, having a bunch of women together and personalities and so forth. But what I love about our team is we are literally a team of bosses.
No
And
question.
we are, and a lot of times when you're building your team, you have to have chiefs and you have to have Indians, right? Too many Indians, there's no leadership. Too many chiefs, everyone's trying to grab the steering wheel. But with our team, we are a team of bosses, and we all work well together. We function well together. Everyone respects the other's space. What your strength is.
Absolutely.
And I think, as a woman and encouraging other women to be part of this organization, it's very powerful that you're part of a team that whatever you do makes a difference, whether it's positive or negative. And let me just give you an example. So my responsibility is to make the flyers. One of my responsibilities with the business development and promotions is to have the flyers ready for the radio show.
Right.
So if I don't get the flyers out, how is anyone going to know who's going to be on the radio show? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's little things that, you have that responsibility and you have to make sure you see it through. So if there's anyone out there that's interested in being part of an organization, a nonprofit organization that is making a change in the world, and I'm telling you,
Yes.
I'm telling you, just like when you think about, let's say, Black Expo, it started with something small. Who would have ever known that it would have grown to this? 1WorldFestGlobal, we're going to be there. We're going to be on the forefront, and you're going to say, wow, I remember seeing something on Instagram or Facebook Live about that.
Yes.
So if there's anyone out there, women or men, but it's Women's History Month and it's all about us, girl power. So if there's any women out there that has a specialty, whether it's promotions or marketing or finance, if there's something that you have that you feel that you could bring to an organization and that's fulfilling for you, you can look us up.
And you know what? I'd like to also make an appeal to the millennials, the young people. We need you, young people. And we're happy to have you, young people. You're all gifted and talented. And again, as I said earlier, iron sharpens iron. So there's something that you can bring to this organization that we know that we can use and that the world can use. And we will learn from you, and as well as you can learn from us. So reach out to us, please. Go onto the website, 1WorldFestGlobal, 1WorldFest.global, and, learn about us, read about us, and understand that we are a company that stands for diversity, tolerance, and inclusion. And there's so much craziness going on. We need to support one another and be a positive light to the world, to the community. We can change it. We can change it, but we have to come together. So that's kind of like home.
And to add on, one thing that we do, we feed off one another. You know, the power, the empowerment, the energy that we all share, it translates from one woman to the next. Like when Lisa says, we need more. I'm the only millennial on the executive board. We need more millennials.
She didn't even know she was a millennial.
I didn't know I was a millennial, so I thought I was so old.
I thought I was
a part of the team, you know, part of the crowd, grown and sexy crowd. They like sit your little young self down. Like, oh man, yeah. They had to break it to me. I was a millennial. I wasn't mad though, you know. I'm at the borderline, but it's very important that you know. I had to fight for my voice, not in this organization, but just in life, period. You know, whether it's because I'm a woman or, you know, a black woman, I had to be out there and then I guess because I'm short, so it's not Napoleon complex thing. So, you know, I had to really be very loud a lot. You know, one thing about this organization, it is about inclusion. And we want to make sure everyone feels wanted, feels feel empowered, feel needed, feel loved. One thing of the question was, you know, why should more women come into this organization? The main thing is we give life to the world. And if we don't be that leadership in our household to show, you know, we are not for this racism. We are not for with this so-called United States, like you said, the corporation and their tactics to make money. And they feed off of the racism. They feed off the self-hate. They feed off of all these things that they just constantly push into our communities. And it doesn't matter what community you're from. You know, it doesn't matter if you're in Little Italy, Chinatown, out in parts of Queens where there's just a lot of Shiites out there. You know, they still put the same type of poison in each neighborhood. You know, we all deal with different things as mothers, but we deal with the same thing. You know, we could come here and talk, and from the time our child came out of, you know, our wombs, or some who are not mothers, just as women, you know, of different cultures, we have the same stories. And it's important because I grew up in a generation where everybody was silent. Nobody said anything. Things was going on in the house, you know, things was going on outside the house. And I was looking for leadership. You know, I'm like, wait, why nobody's teaching me? I love to learn. You know, I'm a nerd. Where are the people who's teaching me? And, you know, I wanted to make sure that when I get of age, you know, and I can't believe, I'll say it on air, I'm 37. I could not believe that I really got here. But I said, when I get of age, no, I'm going to be what I needed, you know, to the next generation. I'm going to be that. And, you know, it just is remarkable that I wasn't the only person who said that, you know, to myself. As I see a lot of people are stepping up and being what we needed, you know, for ourselves.
Awesome, that's awesome. I'd like to switch gears a little bit and kind of speak about our cultural background. So, Chakisha, starting with you, if you can give us a little bit about your cultural background, where you're from, your ancestry, all of that, and what that means to you. And let's start with that.
Yes. My cultural background is Panamanian, Jamaican, American, different ethnicity we do have. Of course, I'm Black. When you're dealing with my culture, I do come from the 5% nation of the gods and earth. You see, I do have my
flag on.
That flag is on. K-Mel also come from that. My mother and father, grandfather, I have a grandfather that had been in Temple 7 with the father-in-law. He was there, but my grandfather was there first. He was there in 1948. So we're talking 72 years of history. So I come from that as my cultural background.
Okay. And if you can give someone some advice with regard to, or suggest, and this is back now on the financial services side, what would be a good place for them to maybe start reading or self-educating themselves about something that's important, whether it's balancing, budgeting or something like that? I think a lot of times people don't budget. They just kind of haphazardly do whatever. They get their check, they get paid, and they're buying things that they really, buying things that they can't afford to really buy. They're spending their money before they even have it.
Wow.
So how do we budget? And if there's something or a place that you can send them to or a link anywhere.
Right. What happened is, especially a lot of people from our culture, they are not taught financial education as a young child. Then when you have other cultures, they are taught financial education. when I was growing up, I was not taught financial education, but I was in a diverse junior high school, Isaac Bildesy Junior High School, 68, over in Canarsie. I was on Arista Archive program for like high honors. I was supposed to be an exchange student to Germany. Of course, my mom and father was not having it, so I did not go. I said, no, there's something wrong. Why you keep pushing me to just go to school, do what I have to do, go to any school, and that's it, and go to college? No. I want to learn like the elite.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Why should I have to just study a certain way? So I had to teach myself.
Okay.
That's the reason I do have an 800 plus credit score for FICO.
Okay.
Because I had to teach myself that way. Because credit is very important.
Absolutely.
And for our young people in our culture, and even older ones, to go out here and spend money lavishly that they do not have, and it's not their money, especially when you start receiving these credit cards. If you cannot pay for it, or you do not have a 0% APR on it, do not use that credit card, because you will go in debt. It happens all the time. Or 21%, 26.99%. If you cannot pay it by the end of the month, you're going to be paying interest on that.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't make sense. And they do have certain programs, even with certain bank credit cards, like Capital One. They have Credit Wise. They have Quizzle. These are programs that people can go to and know how to budget. Learn.
Okay.
The main thing is educating the young and the adults, because you have some adults, like, I have to fix my credit. Oh, my credit is at like 500. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense for someone to have that type of credit score. And then if you want to talk about credit scores for paydex and things of that, because now that's a whole different language. That's the corporate credit. They two separate scores, and you're supposed to make sure that they are separated. Just anytime a corporation have a credit, they're going to have a paydex score. They have a DUNS number from Dun and Bradstreet, and not a FICO score. So the paydex score is going to be anywhere from 1 to 100. So a perfect paydex score is 100. I know I'm at a 98 on my paydex score, and I'm at an 811 on a FICO.
Okay, so you heard it straight from someone who is in financial services. Leslie, let's talk about your cultural background. I know we've spoken about this before, but I'm sure we have some new listeners. And, let's talk about your cultural background, and then if there's something that you would like to share with the audience, or send them someplace where they can read about something that's important, whether it's regard to marketing or graphic art or being a promoter. Promotion is a passion, and not everybody can do it. You make it look easy, but it's a lot of work.
It is.
Let's talk about your cultural background and maybe something along those lines.
Okay, so my cultural background is, my mother is Italian and my father is Black. And my parents both grew up in South Jamaica, Queens. So my mother married my father in 1968, which you could imagine. And my grandparents were in the neighborhood, and it was just a really tough time. And when my mother had me, right after that, my grandmother, they sold the house and they moved to Howard Beach. It was like almost like enough of this crap, Right. And me growing up, we lived in a part of Brooklyn. It was a predominantly white neighborhood. Okay. And I've shared this with you guys the last time I was here. So we grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I felt like I never had a voice, which I think has made me into the person that I am today, which, I don't have a lot of tolerance. Like I don't take any crap. Right. And all my life though, I wasn't that way. Right. it took me a long time to find myself, to come out of my shell, and to be able to stand strong and say, this is who I am.
Because you had it up to here. It's like,
Right.
enough already.
So we lived in Brooklyn up until the 3rd grade, and we were in a predominantly white neighborhood. And I was the N-word. I was zebra. I was Oreo. And when you're a little kid, those words hurt.
And stay with you. They stay with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
They hurt. And there was one Spanish family that lived next door to us, and we were thick as thieves, right? And, not knowing then, it was just because neither one of us really had a place there.
Right, you had that similar.
So after that, we moved to Queens, and we moved to a black neighborhood. I lived right off of Sufton and 116th Avenue over there, right?
Okay.
And when we moved there, I'm like, oh my God, thank goodness. You know what I mean? I'm here. I'm going to.
Felt better.
Right. And, as we got to know, I got to know my neighbors and we all were going to school together. I was now no longer the N-word, but now I was honky.
Girl.
And I was still zebra and Oreo, right? So it was just really hard growing up and being able to fit in. And it's weird because my sister, who is 18 months younger than me, she didn't have the same perspective as I did. Now, my sister's a little darker than me. So, like, if you look at me, people, they come up to me and they talk Spanish.
Right.
Right? So, the hair and, the freckles, the light. My sister looks like a light-skinned black girl, right? Yeah. I look like a Spanish girl. So, I don't know, but she still has the same mother and father. It's weird, but she's like I always say, she's like a superhero.
She's having it. She's like, what?
No. From day one.
She's me.
Yes.
She's me.
Yeah. So like when I was younger, if I would be arguing with someone, she would jump over me and boom.
She's the younger sister, right?
She's 18 months younger than me.
That's hilarious because, not to cut you off, but my sister is the older sister and she's lighter. She looks, she's me, Puerto Rican, my father's from Georgia, black, and Jamaican. And my sister, she looked more fierce, so they would call her white girl more. And for me, I would be called the N-word when I was amongst the Puerto Ricans. It's so crazy. It can happen among your own people. So if they messed with my sister, honey, I was fighting. I would fight you. And I'm the younger one. And everybody always thought that I was older because of my what?
Right.
I was totally that.
Right. Right.
Camilla tell you. And I probably still am a little bit that today. But
I think it's always the
working,
the little sister, the little brother.
I'm working on myself. But this is the thing. For everybody here, if somebody come at you, I'm like, what? Cane and all. Look, ain't nothing changed but my limp. I am a protector and a helper. So when Leslie tells her story, I identify with it so much because we have so much similarities, not only in our background and trying to figure out where we belong, our place, and who wants to be called names? And the thing is, if you call me a name, I would fight you. What? I'm about to show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. So, and of course, I can't do that. I'm 100 years old. I can't do that. I cannot do that now. I understand. I'm getting better. I'm a work in progress. But I completely relate to that. And it's amazing how, just a few years difference, but the same thing. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be willing to protect and want to protect and is not going to have it. Because, although I'm light-skinned, my hair was kinky and I got a relaxer, but my lips were fuller. And it was just different. I was accepted more in the black community, and they would call my sister white girl, and then I'd be ready to fight them. Y'all not gonna be beating them. And my sister was short too. So, but people are people at the end of the day,
right?
And we have to embrace each other's differences.
Yes.
We have to embrace each other's cultures. And again, as women, I know this is women's empowerment. This show is about women's empowerment. There's a couple of things I didn't speak about, but I want to kind of go around and just ask everybody what you have going on, coming up in the future, anything that you're working on now that you want to share with everybody, because we only have a few minutes left. So I think that's important to do that. So let's do that in maybe
Oh,
1 minute.
definitely. About 2 weeks from now, and I will be in D.C. at an IMF World Bank spring meeting event, and I'm definitely going to call back in and, bring some truth on what is going on with the IMF and the World Bank. I will definitely come back even on this show and let people know exactly what is going on, because that's what I'm here for, especially in the financial services, is for people not to know what the IMF does, for people not to know what World Bank does and World Health Organization. These are the people that is running the entire world, and you have to know. Like, there's no way we should be deaf, dumb, and blind to who they are, but we know everyone in the entertainment industry.
Okay, all right, Leslie, what do you have going on, and even share, how people can get in contact with you. We need to get your contact information, Jakeisha. So let's get Jakeisha's contact information. I apologize. Where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Dainty357. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Same thing. You can find me on any of those social media platforms.
Jakeisha Breland, everybody. Okay, now Leslie, what you have going on and where people can find you.
So currently, my biggest project, other than One World Fest, is my international trip. We have a group of adults that go out of the country every year.
No, just talk about that.
Yeah. So what? So this year, we've been doing this for 7 years. So this year we're going to Negril, and we have about 200 people. We actually now have a waiting list, which I'm quite proud of for guests. And we fly out our own entertainment, comedians, DJs. We work with a lot of well-known people. We've flown Big Daddy Kane to Costa Rica, Roxanne Shante to Montego Bay, and I work with an incredible team of promoters. Of the group of promoters, a lot of them have their own businesses. One was a franchise owner, and collectively we have taken this trip that started with like 40 people to evolve into something bigger. And the one thing I could say about my brand and what we do is I'm a crossover between a promoter and an event planner. A lot of times an event planner can put on a great event, but they can't get anyone there because that's not what their forte is. And then a promoter, sometimes the promoter can get people there, but they have no structure to the event that they're doing because that's not what their forte is. So I feel like the Lady Diamonds brand, which is under the umbrella of the Jacobs Agency, and so is Ultimate Soul Escape, we're a collective of promoters and event planners and business owners and entrepreneurs. And that's what I feel like our strength is. And we're able to bring that to the table and just have an incredible event.
So where can they find you, or where can they learn more about what you're doing?
So the Jacobs Agency, we have our website is thejacobsagencynyc.com. We're also on Instagram, the.jacobs.agency. Also, Ultimate Soul Escape is on Instagram, Facebook, Lady Diamonds. That brand is also on social media. And you can also call us at 833-JACOBS-1.
Okay, awesome. And then, Fatiria, let's talk about what you have going on and where people can find you in about 1 minute.
Well, I really don't have too much going on about just getting the surgery done. But other than that, I did have to put Bless the Streets on hold. I have some other organization that's picking up my initiatives as far as working in Covenant House with the women and doing mothering workshops with the women in Covenant House. I will be partnering up with an organization. I will be talking about the partner up this summer with a friend of mine who, the life of Brooklyn himself, Frankie Lewis, and honoring his life at Tucker's Park in August. We have together, myself and my Project Esteem and One World Fest has partnered up to offer educational services to schools to talk about diversity, tolerance, and inclusion. And we did our first pilot program at a school. And
New Heights.
New Heights. We work together. So September of 2019, Project Esteem has started our STEM program. We still do our enrichment, sports conditioning, and there's a lot of things I'm doing in education and mentoring. So.
Okay, so where can everybody find you?
Don't find me. Just go to 1WorldFestGlobal. Look me up because I'm hurt right now, so I'm not really out there. But it's Nips Logic on everything.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to close it out. My name is Lisa Ray, Lisa Angel Ray, middle name Angel. I have a book, Angel's Heart Guided by Light. And, God gave me this over 2 years ago. I also have a play that I produced, wrote, direct, and the CEO and founder was also in it. And all of the poems that are in this book are represented in that play, Life is Poetic, A Message to My Friends. We've done it 3 times. We did it yesterday. We had a great turnout. I'm so grateful to everybody that's participated, from Shamello to Santino to Michelle and Lisette and Kamel, of course, and myself. And am I missing anybody? Am I missing anybody? I'll make sure I'm not missing anybody because y'all know people are like, yeah, it's anybody. But they are amazing people. They are amazing people. And also, I'm going to shout out my pastor, Pastor Bev, she is my pastor at my church, Bethel Gospel Tabernacle, and she is a creative herself. She's a playwright and author as well. And she supports me and she motivates me, and I'm just grateful. So again, me overcoming adversity. In the beginning, you will see people who have endorsed me. Kamel is actually one of my endorsers in here. And I speak about discovering MS and living with MS, but more importantly, this is a book of poems, inspirational poems, Angel's Heart Guided by Light. You can look me up at @the_real_Lisa Ray on Instagram or Angel Ray on Facebook. I have a website, angelray.org, where you will get interesting reading about life, and you'll see some of the things that I'm involved in. And also April 25th, I'm going to be in Cambria Heights at the library with Ralph McDaniels, discussing my, the writing of my book, and also MS. So on that note, we're going to close it out. I want to thank everybody. Let's go around. Thank Miss Jakesha Breland. I want to thank Miss Leslie Jacobs, my co-host, Miss Nefertiti Jones, and yours truly. And I want to thank our CEO and founder of 1WorldFestGlobal, Mr. Kamel Ellis, for giving us this platform to speak about who we are, and hopefully you know a little bit more about the women of 1WorldFestGlobal. Thank you to We Say What They Can't .com for the studio, who is graciously enough to host us every last Sunday of the month. We'll be here again next month, last Sunday of the month. And please feel free to call in, send your questions, look up 1WorldFestGlobal, and learn more about it. Get to know 1WorldFest. # You Have a Voice. Signing off. We'll see you next time, next month. Peace.
Peace.